Are you an ambitious professional looking for that missing edge in your performance? Discover what elite professionals already know. Happiness isn't just a feeling, it's your most powerful competitive advantage. Join me on Tuesday, March 26th for an exclusive live webinar where I'll share the neuroscience behind why happiness drives exceptional business results, practical techniques to rewire your brain for enhanced focus and resilience, transformative mindset shifts that you can implement immediately. Imagine leading with unshakable confidence, inspiring your team, and performing at your peak, all while preventing burnout. Head over to Linktree/YourThoughtLife to register today and transform your leadership journey with the power of happiness. Your team and your future self will thank you.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to Your Thought Life podcast. I am your host, Michael Anderson. And today we're diving into one of the most powerful forces for driving success or for holding you back, and that is your subconscious mind. If in fact you've ever struggled with self-doubt, limiting beliefs, or patterns that seem impossible to break, this episode is certainly for you. By the time we conclude today, you will have science-backed strategies to reprogram your subconscious for success, abundance, and transformation. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind have different roles and responsibilities. The conscious mind is about 5% of your mental capacity in a given day with respect to how you order and execute your day, whereas the subconscious is more along the 95%. We're going to define each of those really fast before we get into the science of reprogramming and why it doesn't really make any sense for you to try to reprogram the conscious mind. Your efforts should literally be centered on the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part of the brain family that is responsible for logic, reasoning, decision-making. It processes information based on analytics, and it's essentially a problem-solving portion of the brain where you're totally present and in the moment. What's going on right now, right? Those things that you see in a commercial, that you see in your circle, that have some degree of influence on you. It's the conscious mind that is really bringing that to your awareness. However, the subconscious mind is limited, very limited in its ability to create lasting change because it's operating on a temporary or short-term basis. There's this surface level of awareness that it brings to your attention at the right times, predicated on, again, what the subconscious is really up to. And therefore, you can set goals, you can have great intentions, you can have New Year's resolutions, but without the reinforcement from the subconscious mind, or those two being in alignment, whatever you gain or have gotten in terms of motivation from the conscious mind will soon fade if, again, there's not continuity between these two hemispheres. This is why willpower alone isn't enough to break deeply ingrained habits. True transformation, family, must occur at the subconscious level. Let's unpack that for just a moment. As I shared with you, the subconscious mind is responsible for 95% of your daily activities, habits, and decisions. So it is the powerhouse. It is the go-to with respect to how your day is going to play out. It operates beneath, that's why it's called sub, the conscious. And as a result of that, it's really responsible for shaping past experiences, your emotion, and it's deeply ingrained in your day-to-day habits. You ever said to yourself, I would love to adopt a new way of doing thus and so, or this or that? If you want to do that, and we're going to show you how today, you got to know that you are manipulating the subconscious, not the conscious mind. If your subconscious is programmed with limiting beliefs, I'm not good enough, or success is for other people, or I don't know if I got what it takes, you're unknowingly self-sabotaging your progress. And you have to know that the more you say those things, the deeper ingrained that becomes. And guess what? Now it's a part of your subconscious. But the good news is you and I have the ability to change the composition, the manner in which our subconscious helps us, leads us, guides us through a given day, circumstance, or common behaviors. Let's talk about the science of reprogramming. So, neuroscience shows us that the brain is malleable. That means it can change. And like any other muscle, it has the ability to grow and change. Call this neuroplasticity, meaning for practical application here, you can rewire your neurological pathways, creating new patterns and new ways of thinking that culminate in new behaviors. This is us actively participating in the restructuring of how we do life through this brain region called subconscious, which is a very large portion of your brain, and it involves quite a few of the subsystems. Let's talk about the mechanics of what we need to do to pull off this whole reprogramming effort. We use this and have been using this for 4 years now in our practice incredibly successfully with a 98% success rate. We don't necessarily use all of these principles that we're going to talk about today, but it depends on the person and what is the outcome that they desire. But let's first lean into the identity of limiting beliefs. We have to get to a point where we're paying attention to negative self-talk and recurring fears. We are always moving toward what we're thinking about and what we're saying at a subconscious level. When we raise the level of awareness we have about what we're saying and what are the things that we're noting as fear and why we sometimes can't proceed beyond those, this is a fantastic start point for us to begin to exercise internal levels of EQ to press us, move us beyond this point where we've been for such a long time. This is very noteworthy. If you will take the time each day to journal these things, what is it you're thinking about a lot? What does that self-talk look like? What are the fears that keep coming up? What is the resistance that you're feeling? Do you have other emotions that are weighing in at the time you're feeling these other things? You can begin to understand what that profile looks like for you. What you're going to find is that awareness is going to then equate to a blueprint that you can utilize to move yourself out of the space where limiting beliefs are always holding you back. Next, we use an awful lot of affirmations and visualization. Research from Stanford University confirms that the repeated affirmation and mental imagery activates the brain's reward system, reinforcing new beliefs. We talked about rewiring. We're looking at 5 different things effectively that we can do to reprogram our neurological pathways, which create net new behaviors at the end of the exercise for the subconscious. We just said that the identification of limiting beliefs is number 1. And number 2, we're saying affirmations, what you write down on a card that says what you believe strongly in and how you are going to conduct yourself to make good on that affirmation. This is one of 2 things that you can do along with visualization, closing your eyes and rehearsing in your mind what you would like to actually have happen. Together, this is a very powerful effect to penetrate deep into the subconscious mind to create new neurological pathways that create those brand new behaviors and change from the way you were to the way you would like to be. So you make empowering statements like, I am capable, I am successful. They always start with I am, typically, right? I am capable, I am successful. I have what it takes to be whatever. I have the skills that I need to become blah, blah, blah. You get the point. Visualization is you then closing your eyes, shutting off all stimulation, visual, and getting in a quiet place where you can just really be by yourself and visualizing with the greatest degree of emotion, of feeling like you're actually there, and detail. Detail is incredibly important. Doing this over and over and over until you can see it so vividly that you can share it with someone, and through you sharing, they can see exactly what it is that you see. These two together most certainly should be leveraged. There's also, for number 3, right, repetition. I can't tell you how important this is. People desire to change the composition of their subconscious, but they think that you're going to say some affirmations, do a couple visualizations, and bada bing, bada boom, everything's going to be different. Does not work that way. In the same way that it took several repetitions for you to form, right, these subconscious patterns and states, it's going to take an equal amount or more to reprogram them. Big idea here is knowing that repetition is your friend. The subconscious learns incredibly well through repetition. That's the constant exposure or exposing yourself to the positive message through the visualization, right? And it could be through books and podcasts or time you spend in meditation. There's a variety of different pathways. Again, you want to surround yourself with the tools, with the positivity, and with the individuals that can help you put on a growth-oriented mindset in exchange for one that might have been fixed. Next is the idea of engaging in meditation. Studies show that deep meditation and guided hypnosis can access the subconscious, making it more receptive to positive suggestions. What I used to do is I recorded my voice onto an MP3 using, I believe it was Audacity, and I did my affirmations there. And I listened to them right before I went to sleep. And just as I was waking up, these are 2 states where you are literally in a fantastic mental wave pattern where suggestions of this sort are highly embraced and can be readily received. That means as soon as you wake up, you're not turning on any televisions, you're not reaching for your cell phone, you're not doing anything except leaning in to this wonderful state that you find yourself in to receive these suggestions. Again, same thing right before you go to sleep. Incredible progress I made inside of 1 year doing this. And then I added to it the main idea of this point, which is meditation. Getting up each morning, spending some me time, doing some visualization to see precisely how I perceive my day to be and how I want it to go. And what happens over time is you meditate and you get in that quiet place and you're to yourself and you embrace initially just the breathing pattern, the rise and fall of the chest, and noting how that makes you feel and feeling in a physiological way what that feels like to settle yourself down. That increases and heightens your level of awareness to such a point that you can take it with you during the day. So people try to press your buttons instead of you popping off. You don't do that. You're like, hey, they just pressed a button. I got a decision to make right now. Am I going to behave the way I used to? Or am I going to catch this subtle cue and do something totally different? This is the power of meditation in one instance, right? If you do this for just 5 to 10 minutes a day, you will see a profound shift. You'll see that you can now notice things that were right in front of your face before that you didn't see because you were in that cycle, you were in that pattern, and now here they are front and center. They've been there the whole time, but it's because you've changed now that you're able to see them. And then finally, we have to take action to get new beliefs. Your subconscious mind aligns with action. We just said that repetition in step 3 of this 5-step process was critical, right? You can't stop until you see manifested what it is you desire. So when you take steps toward your goal, no matter how small, you're signaling to the brain that, hey, there's some new stuff going on. And that new stuff, if not new, if different, is strengthening your neurological pathways with brand new neurological connections. As such, we must continue to be consistent with these new behaviors. Let me tell you this before we wrap up. Reprogramming your subconscious mind isn't a one-time event. Let me stress that, because you're going to see stuff on YouTube and you're going to be led to believe that this is a one and done, and it's not. It's a daily practice. This is like adopting a new lifestyle. You don't do it for a couple of months and then fall back off, because what happens is you'll fall right back into your old behaviors. When you intentionally reshape your thoughts, you get to reshape your reality. So there is no way to go back, literally, if you like what you're seeing. Your potential is limitless when you align your subconscious mind and heart with your goals. Got to have your mind and your heart going in the same direction at the same pace in tandem. So if today's episode resonates with you, feel free to share it with one of your friends, one of your colleagues, someone you're doing life with. And most certainly, I appreciate you taking the time to listen. This is a pretty lengthy episode. Thanks again for joining us today. Do consider leaving us a rating and a review. It helps us to reach more people. Feel free to connect with us on Linktree. The link is available in the show notes. Please remember, you are enough. You can do it. You are uniquely equipped to realize your goals. Until next time, keep on reprogramming your subconscious mind.